Welcome all my job seekers out there. So in today's video, we're going to be talking about quite a serious issue that affects many job seekers, but is probably not discussed as much as it should be. And that is unemployment depression and how to avoid it. Before I get started, remember to follow me on Instagram if you haven't already, and also follow me on YouTube so you can get weekly videos about how to pass the interview and get the job that you desire. So what is unemployment depression? Well, first of all, depression by itself is a persistent feeling of sadness over a long period of time. And this usually happens when you're going through difficult times. And if it persists for too long, it can become a chronic illness, a chronic mental illness, which nobody wants to have. Depression usually accompanies other negative emotions as well, such as stress, anxiety, and just overall a low mood. Now, if you're unemployed for, let's say, quite a long period of time, sometimes this can cause your depression because it is a difficult time that you're going through. Now, before I go into the tips of how to avoid unemployment depression, we first need to identify the key signs of when you're falling into a depression so that you can notice it, identify it, and nip it in the bud before it goes too far. There's usually 4 key signs of when you're falling into a depression. The first sign is that you lose appetite, so you just don't feel like eating that much and you don't care whether you eat or not. That's the first sign. The second sign, and probably one of the most common signs of depression, is that you start excluding yourself from the people that you associate with. So you start excluding yourself from your friends, sometimes your family. You just don't feel like talking anymore. You just shut yourself away from everybody. And usually this happens, especially in terms of unemployment, you kind of shut yourself away because you almost feel like you're not worthy because you don't have a job, which is a really negative mindset. But that in turn causes you to feel almost embarrassed or ashamed of your current situation, that you just want to stay away from the world really and just keep to yourself until you get a job, which is, a sign that is really detrimental to your mental state. The third sign is that you're just not sleeping. So you're starting to get insomnia. And this usually comes with anxiety as well. So, the fact that you don't have a job is keeping you up at night and, it's affecting your sleep patterns, and you're just so stressed and anxious over this issue that is causing your depression to get worse. So not sleeping is also a factor. Sign number 4, which is the opposite of sign number 3, is that you're sleeping too much. So you're sleeping at night and you're also sleeping in the day. You're sleeping whenever you get the chance really. And this usually happens when you feel like there's nothing else going on in your life and you don't have any enthusiasm or any zeal to do anything else because the depression has just taken over. And it gets to the point where you're so emotionally, fragile and just stressed and anxious that it just causes you to feel emotionally weak and physically weak, and all you want to do is just sleep. Whew. Okay, so what's tip number 1 to avoid unemployment depression? Well, the first tip is not to jump straight into job searching as soon as you become unemployed. This is a very common mistake that a lot of job seekers make as soon as they become unemployed, including myself. I've also made this mistake. Now, what happens is, as soon as you lose your job, you get into a panic and you just want to start job searching so you can get into the next job really quick. But this is not necessarily healthy. By doing this, you become solely focused on just getting a job that you forget about other aspects of your life that are actually going well. So what you need to do in this situation is just take a step back. Take about 2 weeks or a month of just, spending time with family, spending time with friends, just doing things that you like to do. And then after that, you can slowly start getting to the job searching. The second tip is to have a routine. When you have a job, you have a routine. You know that you have to wake up in the morning, you have to get ready, you need to get on the train or the bus, you need to go to work, and you've got your daily tasks to do, and then you go back home. So there's that set routine that you have every day. However, when you're unemployed, it's a serious shock to the system, because all of a sudden there's no routine at all and you don't know what to do with all of your free time, and that can start to let you go into a depression because you feel like you almost have no purpose or you have nothing to do. This is why you need a routine. So you need to schedule when you're going to job search, maybe do 2-hour slots throughout the day, and then you need to schedule when you're going to take breaks, schedule when you're going to have, a dinner with a friend, or you're going to go and get your nails done. You need to have a schedule to just keep you focused and on the ball. The fourth tip, which you might find quite unusual, is to do exercise. I know what you're probably thinking, here we go again. Now, the reason why I say this is because for many of us, when we become unemployed for, quite a few months or even up to a year or above, it starts to tear down your self-esteem. And you start to feel really, really low, especially when, your financial situation gets worse and you feel like you almost can't do anything for yourself, or you're living hand to mouth. You just end up feeling really low. And in some cases, some people feel almost worthless. Now, with exercise gives you a completely opposite feeling. Exercise makes you feel like you've actually accomplished something. And the more you do exercise, the better you get at it. You're going to start feeling better about yourself, better about your body, and just overall you'll have a better mental perception of yourself and everything around you. This in turn builds your self-confidence and your self-esteem, which makes you in the right frame of mind to even start job searching and going for interviews and just getting yourself back out there. It's also a very good way to make your free time valuable time as well. The fifth tip is to be useful. I know that sounds kind of rude. I don't mean it in that way. What I mean by that is, give yourself a sense of purpose. Because a lot of the time, when we become unemployed, we feel like we almost don't have a purpose because we're not out there actually doing something. So do something that gives you purpose. One of the best things to give you a sense of purpose is to do volunteer work. By doing volunteer work, you're actually giving back, and you end up feeling good and feeling like you have a sense of purpose when you're giving back to the community or you're helping some type of charity, something of that nature. So do volunteer work. Not only that, this is also going to help you gain valuable skills. You might learn leadership skills, interpersonal skills. There's all types of skills you can learn by doing volunteer work. And also this is going to help you with your CV and looking for a job, because while you're unemployed, you can put that in your gaps so it never looks like you were actually not doing anything and that you were dormant. You were constantly doing something on your CV, and employers love to see that. Now, the sixth tip is, if you feel like you've tried all of that and you still feel like you're falling into a depression, talk to somebody. That saying, a problem shared is a problem halved, that is actually very true. Sometimes you just need to talk to somebody to feel like you're not alone, or join a group that is going through the same difficulties as you. Sometimes they've got job seeker groups or unemployment groups where you can just go and just share your stories and your struggles. Also, you can call the Samaritans line. I'll put the information below. And they literally are a phone line system that helps people that are going through any kind of difficulty. You can literally just call them on the phone. I think it's a free phone number, so you don't have to pay for anything, and you can just talk and just pull your heart out. And sometimes that can just help you feel better afterwards and stop you from slipping in a deep down depression. Well, that's all my tips on how to avoid unemployment depression. If you found that helpful, then press like. If you haven't followed my page already, remember to follow me on Instagram and also subscribe to my YouTube channel so you can get weekly videos and tips on how to pass the interview and get the job that you desire. See you in my next video.